Hey guys, welcome back to AFK Journey. In today's video, we are checking out Talene. Now, I've already picked up my one copy from the chest that we got, and I have done a tiny bit of testing for about half an hour to an hour. So take everything with a grain of salt. If you're weighing up your decision on whether to pull for her or not, this is not going to have the complete answer for you. I think she is an amazing unit. This is the kind of unit I have been looking forward to. She's amazingly designed. Her kit is absolutely wonderful from a base single copy all the way through until you upgrade her. I think, and this is once again after like half an hour, and also I love Talene, so I am biased. So once again, do wait. This is not telling you you should pull for her. This is just a first look at her. We're going to look at her skills and some testing I've done. She can basically infinitely ult, which is absolutely crazy for support and damage. But once again, I am biased. I do really like this character. I will have a more concise summary and suggestions around her in I don't know how long it's going to take me to get a full roundabout. I'm going to leave her at one copy for a while. Then I do have enough to get her to Mythic Plus on my free-to-play account. I will then take her up to there and do more testing over the coming days. But once again, I'm biased. I'm really excited about it because she is cool, and I do like the fact that she is appearing to be at least decent at one copy on an account around about where mine is for a free-to-play player. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of her kit, and then we'll go in and I'll show you some stuff. I've done a little bit of boss testing and a bit of campaign testing as well. So let's take a look at Talene.
Want to make it even better?
I don't think anyone can... I know there's a lot of complaining about voice actors. I think her voice is great. That could be a bad take because I've always got bad takes on that type of thing, but I think she's got a great voice actor. Anyway, let's get into it. So her ultimate, Talene flies to a designated tile in the center of the battlefield, meaning the center line of the battlefield, and it shoots forward, consuming 12.5% of her max HP and 250 energy per second to shoot a 5-tile flame, dealing 150% damage plus yada yada, and an extra damage equal to 170% plus power. You know, you guys get the gist. I hate trying to read the way it's presented. Of her HP... Of her lost HP to enemies, sorry. Of her lost HP. That's a very critical one, so it's of her lost HP to enemies within range. The extra damage is shared among all hit enemies. So it's not like each one gets it, so that's just one thing to consider. It's not like that. It's not going to infinitely scale ridiculously, but the first bit is scaling. Talene can cast this skill even when she is out of energy, but her HP consumed per second is increased to 20%. This skill ends when there are no enemies within range. Now, obviously, we just get damage increases along the way, but the huge thing for this is, that makes it absolutely crazy, is the fact that the using it without energy didn't make sense to me when I first read it without testing her. She can't cast it. At least not in bosses. Like I haven't tried her on manual to just cast it without having any energy. That's something I've really got to test, and we can test that now. But when she casts it, she runs out of energy. As long as you're healing her with your other allies, she will not exit that mode unless she dies or runs out of targets to hit. So she can still be hit when she's in this mode, but I'll show you guys some stuff in the Dream Realm in a sec. And she just sits there ulting just for the rest of the day, just ulting, just GG's, happy days, boys, we're ulting, and that's it. It's fantastic. I love it. All right, next one. Whenever she loses 10% of her max health, she will release a warm current that restores 40% HP for the weakest allied hero. Whenever she restores 10% of her max health, she will unleash a torrent that deals 50% damage to the healthiest enemy. Active, Talene consumes 20% of her max HP to summon a divine fire in the area with the most enemies, dealing 200% damage and consume that comes with an extra life drain effect to adjacent enemies. The one thing I forgot to mention with her ultimate, she can get crowd controlled out of it. So that's something very important to remember with this one. So she's not just like completely invulnerable while using it. You do have to consider that. As soon as we get a unit that can like make an ally invulnerable for like infinite because they're linked or something, it's gonna be nuts. Okay, next one. Talene transforms into a ball of flame whenever she is defeated. During this state, she cannot be attacked and she is not considered alive. And she can restore 8% of her max HP per second, as well as benefit from allies' skills. When her HP reaches above 65%, she will be resurrected She will resurrect and bring about an explosion, dealing 150% damage to enemies within 2 tiles and knocking them 1 tile back. After each resurrection, her vitality during the flame state will be reduced permanently by 33. So this is the thing that they did implement, meaning like vitality means her received healing. So essentially she is just going to get healed less and less each time she does it. So she's going to take longer and longer to come back is essentially what we're looking at there. But the revive is huge. Next one. Her hero focus is great. Getting her to Legendary Plus is going to be pretty solid just because Talene increases her attack by 8% for up to 32% whenever she has consumed 50% of her max HP. I don't know how this works. I'm going to have to test this, whether it means when she's below 50%, she has a 32% increase, or it's like once accumulatively she's drained 50% of her max HP, even if she heals it back afterwards, then she keeps that max buff, which goes up to a 40% buff, which is a big attack buff. All right, then we have her exclusive equipment. Talene grants the Pyre of Renewal to the frontmost allied hero other than herself from the beginning of the battle until the end. Pyre of Renewal, and I'm assuming this is this doesn't remove because she doesn't technically die because she's always in a fireball. Like it never gets removed because even if she dies, she comes back. So it's not removed, if that makes sense. Pyre of Renewal carrier will deal damage equal to 50% of their attack per second to adjacent enemies and restore HP equal to 25% of their damage dealt, which is pretty solid if we have a heavy damage dealer. I'm wondering if we get some like Shakira action with this stuff or something. Every time the carrier is healed by an amount equal to 500% of their attack, and a kindling will be generated next to them, permanently enhanced. A kindling will come next to them to permanently enhance Talene's Pyre of Renewal, increasing its damage dealt by 50% for up to 3 stacks. So we do get good damage out of this. Once again, we get number increases. Unfortunately, the big increase is on her level 4, so you do have to really invest into her to get this. But this one, once you get to max stacks, when the carrier is defeated, all stacks will be consumed to transform the carrier into a ball of flame. The carrier will resurrect in 3 seconds, so it's not like a HP based thing. It's a 3 seconds. They come back with 50% of their max HP, and this effect can only be triggered once in each battle. So that is that one. Pretty solid once again. It's going to be pretty clutch, but you do need heavy investment to get that. Supreme Plus, Talene increases her HP recovered per second to 15% while in the flame state when she's defeated for the first time in battle. If you have a bunch of healers on the team, like this ain't going to matter. But obviously getting her to Supreme Plus is more for the stats than anything else. And then Season, she has the energy. Okay, so now that we've looked at her skills, I want to show you guys some replays. I messaged them to Barry so that I had them on record. So we're going to look at the Lone Gaze here. And as you can see, she is at 1 copy. Her, Marilee and Odie are all at the same level, which is 10 levels above Thorin and Smokey. But you can see this 1 copy of her is doing pretty decent damage compared to the Marilee. Now, this is in the difficulty before Endless. Some bosses, my account's on Endless at, some it's not. Lone Gaze is just a hard one. So keep that in mind. We are not in Endless mode, but this is just a good look at a 1 copy viability, considering that she does provide a ton of healing and keep Odie alive really well. The combo of her and Smokey keep Odie alive to the point where he pretty much lasts until like the last 5 seconds of battle. So I don't need a Coco, and instead of Coco, I can bring her for all this extra damage, which is very, very interesting. So yeah, there's other teams I can test as well, but this is just a basic thing I want to show you because I really want to show you the way her ult interacts. So let's go ahead and let's go to the replay. And then let's go to 1x speed. So I put her in the front row. She dies instantly. That's okay. She's just there to take that heat so no one else dies to the first hit. And now you can see she's back already. And the key thing is she's going to ult before the boss technically moves. So that means she's at this further back position. Now, obviously the boss, once he does the howl, you can see he's getting the dodges up because he gets like the, what is it? It's like a 30% increased chance. I swear like everything dodges, but it is what it is. We'll just deal with it. But you can see she is back here using her ultimate. She has no energy, and instead she is draining tons of her HP. But because we have Smokey healing her, she's able to just continually ult. And as you can see, she is still ulting because technically the boss is still in range. I'm questioning whether it's actually landing on him, but as you can see here, she is still ulting. She is still alive and still ulting. She is still alive and still ulting. So she has been pretty much ulting this whole entire battle. And keep in mind, every time she's losing HP, she's also healing her allies. Now here, you can see once again, she is still ulting. She is still ulting. So this is the crazy thing. She has been ulting this whole battle so far. So now she's, once again, still ulting to state the obvious. Still ulting. Now there, she got killed because one of the wolves clipped her. If that wolf didn't clip her, she would have stayed alive and she would have kept ulting. So this is where we're going to try again and see if we can get her to ult the whole battle. But that is the crazy thing that she can do. And this is why you can see we're at 22 seconds left. Maybe it's around here that we do lose the Smokey because once again, we got clipped with her and we ran out. Oh no, she's going to ult here. She's going to ult. Okay, so now she's back. Is that her ulting? No, that's Thorin. Okay, let's see if she ults. We're at 11 seconds. 9, 8, 7. She's going to get some healing up here. 8. Okay, it's 6 seconds. We lose the Smokey. That's not too bad. So the way that the infinite ult loop works is pretty cool in my opinion. I really do like it. Whether it's going to turn out to be an optimal formation for some people, it's going to depend on whether you have, like, I don't know whether it's going to be better than Iranian Mythic Plus. I don't think so, because you lose that damage amplification, but she is bringing a decent bit of damage. Now, if she's Mythic Plus, maybe it's a different picture. So that's where I'm saying I think she's really, really good and really, really viable, even at one copy. But how much so when we compare it to other things, that's what we need to do a ton more testing to actually find out. So keep that in mind. But we're going to try this one more time over here. And see if we can get that to land. Now, we do need her to ult before the boss technically moves to the back. Otherwise, her ult will be too far forward and she won't get a chance to use it. So you can see here, she had to move forward, which means now she's going to use the ult there. And she's going to not get that added effect that we were looking for because now she's had to revive. Now she's like missing it. So the whole timing is gone for her. So essentially, she's kind of boned from there. So this is where there is going to be a ton of RNG involved with playing her. And that's why I saved that replay, because I didn't think I was going to be able to get that again. So that was like a really clutch play that we managed to get there. But that's a look. I'll do more experimenting with that anyway, and I'll get back to you guys. But you can see how much of a difference it makes when she gets to do that infinite ult, because she's just endlessly healing as well. So that's a look at that. Let's bounce out. Let's go look at some other stuff. So let's take a quick look over here at campaign. So I cleared through a couple stages. You can see we're at about a 3x deficit. She was working really, really well for me in the team of like Smokey, Thorin, just because Thorin's my tankiest tank. I don't have any of the others built. More of a Stoli tank would be better. But I was just using Thorin with Smokey, Hewen, and Coco and Talene, and it was like just super, super solid. But this one's a bit different because Thorin runs forward. It's a weird bunch of enemies. I think this team is going to work. I am using the single copy of Freyesto as well in this one. But let's take a look, see if we can make it work. So as you can see, Thorin runs forward, insta-dead. Freyesto getting healed up decently, so he's still alive. Then she goes in and ults. So now she is once again bringing that healing along with everything else, and she's getting healed by our Smokey as well, which is fantastic. She has actually dropped there, so she did get a death. So that was her first death. You can see we are still getting the Smokey healing. We're just in range. She's about to ult again. Boom, there we go. Ulting, 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 ulting. Did she die again? Shit. There's another ult. You guys get the gist. That's a look at what she was doing. It's a pretty cool synergy with all the extra heals and stuff. So let's take a look at this. And then you can see, now obviously this is a tanky Stoli team where Thorin is dealing a bunch of damage, but you can get this effectiveness out of her where she is Stoli. And this is where I think in these stall comps, she's going to slot right into them as not only a healing unit, but also a DPS other than Smokey. I think her DPS, once you got her heavy duped, is going to be viable, and I'm waiting to see from some of the high deficit whales on their testing to see if that actually plays out. Let's go into the next stage and take a look at what we've got here. Unfortunately, we've got the hog riders in this one, so this one is just going to be awkward as hell because our Smokey's going to get interrupted to just for days. I don't know how I'm going to make it work, but let's just try. Yeah, that ain't great. We're still alive though. And see, that's the thing, in these grouping ones, because she was taking damage, she was actually healing my other healers and stopping them from dying. So Smokey's still alive. We need him to start channeling again. She goes, she's going to ult again. Okay. Okay, she's still ulting. Remember, she can get knocked out of this with CC, but she is still ulting, and she is still getting healed, which is fantastic. Is that Smokey's second ult? Okay, so as you can see, she's still ulting. Okay, there it goes. She ran out of targets in range, and that's where it changes. But now, once again, there we go. And so the thing that's really important in that one, those enemies were the lunging type enemies. And because they lunged and they started hitting her, she was healing everyone, stopping them from dying. And once again, this is her at 1 copy. This is a 1 copy Talene. That's what gets me excited about this. I think she's going to be a useful, like, I don't think she's going to be the best unit, but for the investment of 1 copy, obviously if you're like a Mythic Rainier, like get him to Mythic Plus. But I do think a 1 copy of her is going to be quite nice. Now, obviously I do have the 1 copy of Freyasto as well, and he actually works pretty well in this, even at 1 copy. But let's keep going. Actually, what I want to show you guys is, so I'm at about a 3.5x deficit, but I want to show you guys with my full strongest team, my normal team, so you guys know what this actual working deficit is, because I don't play at a massive deficit, so I don't want to be misleading too much. So 1.2. So it's just under a 3x deficit with my best team. So it's still not horrid pushing that we are doing here. We're still not at a horrid deficit, but I am liking this team. So let's just back out and go back in. Once again, let's do, I mean, this is, honestly, it's not a bad team. I'm just going to bring him up one. Who is targeting him? I don't know. Let's just see. The problem is we do have a couple of issues here. Cassidy and also Valen are going to be an issue for me, but let's just see how she goes. Okay, she dropped. Yeah, so the Cassidy Valen's going to be a bit of an issue for this team. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to have what it takes to get through this team like this. And that's where you're going to run into formation issues. You know what we could try? We could try using this one. I don't know if we're going to have enough oomph with us, but let's just try this. We do lose a ton of power by doing this. Let's see, let's see. Where's that ult? There it is. Boom. So Cassidy's going to ult here and just ruin my day, because she just one-taps me, and then we just got nothing left. Maybe. I mean, she's still doing something. Yeah, no, we're not going to get through it with that Cassidy, unfortunately. So that's where we get awkward. But as you can see from the other stages, she can work when it's allowing. But once again, we do have to deal with some issues here, and because her damage isn't high enough, and that knockback, I'm not sure if she gets knocked back because she's getting tapped. I know, like, if a Cecilia drops Carlisle on her, it interrupts her ult. From the early testing I did, but I don't know if she can get knocked back when she's in that form, which is something I need to test, because unfortunately she's getting one-tapped, so we don't actually get to test that properly. What if we did something like this? If we did something like this out of curiosity, does she still get hit? Oh yeah, because she goes to the middle of the battlefield, so she's boned either way. Yeah, yeah, she goes to the middle, so we can't even play around that. And unfortunately, we were just late on the CC with the what's her face. What we could try, let's just try one more thing here. Let's try removing you. Let's put you up there, and let's randomly take an Arden. And I'm curious if Arden can CC and buy us the time. I'm not sure. Oh wait, Thorin's gonna hit everyone. That sucks. Yeah, that's not what we want. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad. It's really bad. Okay. No, ain't gonna work. Okay. But you guys get the gist of what I was looking at there. I'm going to do a bunch more testing with 1 copy, and then I will do some summons and I will get her maxed out, and we'll test that out as well. I mean, I think that was even pretty reasonable towards the end there. Let's try this one more time just for shits and gigs. Except this time we're going to go like this. Now, who is attacking? It's all about where he's going with his birdie. So we might have to... And I haven't figured out exactly how the interactions with Thorin, whether he reduces the damage she takes from herself or not, or anything like that. I've definitely got to figure that out. Unfortunately, we're going to get the Eagle on Smokey, which ruins everything for us. Unless we can make this work, something like this. Let's see if we can make something like this work. Because if the Eagle goes on her, that's fine. Unfortunately, Thorin's out of range of the healing, so that's where we get really bricked here. And then we get, yeah, nah, the Cassidy bone is in this one. But hey, that's going to be it, guys. That's what I'm looking at. Like I said, first impressions, I think she's really solid. But once again, if you're unsure, if you're not pulling her just because you like her, I would still wait and see. It's something we've really got to look into, like what should be a priority between her and what's his face? And Rainier, and maybe even Freyaster, whether you want to get some copies of either. I don't know, but that's all stuff I'm gonna deliberate about over the coming days. But that is my first look. I think this is the first character that has actually been exciting in the game, and I think a lot of people can get excited even at one copy. But once again, hold out. I'll update you guys with more. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Cheers.